Good morning, Tech Talk Worldwide. As you guys can tell, I popped up with a special, oh wait, my camera's opposite. I popped up with a special guest today. I found Jim McConnell hanging out in his office, and he has agreed to come on and do a live Q&A with us. And obviously, you guys know that I'm going to pick his brain a little bit. And so good morning, Jim. Thank you for being last minute on our Tech Talk Live show.
Good morning, Amy.
So hopefully you had time to go grab a cup of coffee and sit back with us. And so cheers if you did.
I got my coffee.
Right on. Yep. Well, good morning. So Jim, what's a typical morning for you besides, getting all spruced up to be able to come on Tech Talk Live?
Typical morning for me, I usually am awake by about 5 to 5:30. And I'm just an early riser, early to bed. And I'm usually in the office by, lately, a little bit late, about 6:45 or 7 a.m. So, and I'm late because we just got a new puppy, she's really cute. She's in her mom's office right now. So I'll come in a little bit late with the dog because we got to take her for a walk and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my goodness. So are you usually the first one in the office that early, or are there other morning risers like yourself?
No, we have our manufacturing facility, and then we have our production area. So production comes in at 6, and that's their choice. We asked them if they want to come in at 6 or 8 with everybody else, and they chose 6. So they're here by 6. We have some people who are here by 5:15, unlocking the door, making sure coffee is made, everybody's ready to go. We live in a farming community, and so a lot of people are up early regardless. So they come in early, and they like to be out of here early because there's, parents and grandparents. So it makes it kind of fun. We have a couple of people that work 2 jobs because they're a sole supporter, and they are trying to buy homes and cars and everything else for families of 4 to 5 kids. So so they're working hard.
Oh my goodness. I'm not one of those early risers, but I did always like to be the first one at the salon because I liked starting the coffee. I liked unlocking the door. I felt like I was the one that got to set the tone as people were coming in and being able to say good morning as they came in. But truthfully, I don't even work till 10:30 these days. I like to sit around because I now work from, I have a studio that's connected to my home. So I don't have that same, get up and oomph. I just got to beat my client to the door. That's about it.
It's a short trip.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's wonderful. One of the things that I was just looking at, I got my nails magazine yesterday, which everybody knows I can't wait for the magazine to come. I also get the digital issue. So I look at them as soon as they're released online. And then by the time they come, I pretty much know what's in the magazine, but I still look at them again. And then I screenshot pictures of people that I know. For instance, like Phoenix Van Dyke is in this month. I screenshotted it. I'm like, hey, you made the magazine. And Kim Manor, who's, one of our admins, her nails are featured in there. And so anyways, I was going through the magazine, and on always, like within the first 5 pages is a double opening of Light Elegance. And what I like about what you do is it's not always just about the products. What you show is exactly what you just mentioned, behind the scenes, people in the factory part, what they're working on, and the family, part of that. And so your vision of what you guys are doing, I love that it's so much different, which is what it should be. It should be about the family and, behind the scenes stuff. So anyways, it's always fun to kind of look at the pictures and go, oh, I always wondered what the machine looked like that put polish or gel into the bottles,
And that's what they look like. Yeah. Big turntables with lots of bottles on them.
So one of the advantages, well, you know what, before we get into talking about that, Jim, how did you even get started in the beauty industry at all?
It's Leslie's fault. I blame her for everything that goes on. She had a beauty salon, and so Lezlie and I, this is our second marriage each. And so she had a beauty salon when I met her, and the guy that used to cut my hair went to go work at her salon. My first wife and I were not a good match, so it was time for us to move on. I moved on from her. A couple years later, Lezlie was no longer with her husband, and I asked her out. She said no, but You know, that's okay, because I was just going to go talk to her about everything that you go through when you get divorced. And she eventually said, yeah, let's go have a beer. So we went out and had a beer, and 7 months later, we were married.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
call it upgrading in life. You know how you upgrade your cars? I
Yeah.
did an upgrade in life too.
I definitely upgraded, definitely to someone that's more to my liking.
Oh, wonderful. And
She's
so she
outstanding.
said yes, and
And we got married, and that was 23 years ago.
oh my goodness, congratulations.
Yeah. So I've been married with her longer than I was married to my first wife by almost 5 times.
Yeah.
So twice as long for her to be married to me than her first husband. She had 2 children from her first marriage. I had one from mine. And Lexi, who is her daughter, works with us. She's part owner of the company. Her husband, Joseph, works here as well. And it's just fun. It's fun to watch them excel and take on more and more responsibility.
Yeah. And so your role prior was a chemist, and then
Yeah.
you fine tune it later
Yeah.
on.
So when we met, I was a polymer chemist working in the wood products and transportation industry. So if you are at Home Depot and you see some plywood, there will be, if it's an A-face plywood, which means it's sanded, you might see a synthetic repair in there, and that synthetic repair is a product I used to formulate.
Oh my goodness.
And laminated beams. So if you have an architectural laminated beam, it has to look nice. There's a synthetic repair in there as well. Most of that is polyurethane at this point, and that's a product I used to make as well. Truck bed liners, Linex, Rhino liner, that's my formulation.
Oh my goodness. I'll have to tell my husband. I mean, we have a new box to reline the back of my truck again.
Yeah.
And he wants to do a whole vehicle in it. Yeah, I'm not joking. He has it planned out.
Good if you're going through the trees and the brush. It's really
Yeah.
good for that. Yeah, it's not going to scratch very easily.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. Expansion joints for like Home Depot, not Home Depot. Sorry, Costco. So if you go to Costco and you have the cracks in the concrete and it's filled, that's filled with my material. If you fly in and out of the Portland airport, the
Okay.
expansion joints there between the concrete and the asphalt, or between the concrete slabs, that's my material.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to look at this whole world in a little bit of a different view.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
I
So
did.
everything I did up until this was all 2 component polyurethanes and polyureas. So spray in place, pour in place type materials. And then Lezlie had the salon, and she came home one day with a bottle of sticky goo in a tub. And she said, "You're a polymer chemist. Can you make me something?" So we did. It took us about 9 months. The nail technicians at the salon were involved in every decision that we made, what they liked, what they didn't like. And so were their clients. And then after 9 months, we had something that they really enjoyed, which was great. But then we started getting phone calls from people around the world. You know, what is this stuff on my clients' nails? They're in Eugene, they're at your salon. You put something on, I don't know what it is. Leslie's mom has a tendency to be a little overly cautious when the phone rings and someone says, "What is this on someone's nails?" So she called us up the first time. She goes, "I have a phone call from someone from New York City, and they want to know what's on the client's nails. You need to call them back." She thought that something was wrong. And it turned out that the person in New York just wanted to buy the product. So we thought, well, maybe we've got something. So I wrote all the code for our first website, published that, and we started getting orders online. That was 1999. So we've grown ever since.
Oh my goodness. And still on the top of the leading part of our market, and your products are amazing. I've used them for many years. What was interesting is I want to say it was in maybe 98. I hadn't had a supply of your products at the time, but I had gone to a nail show in Vegas. It might have been like 1996. Anyways, it was the first time that there was another competitor there, and I had not been introduced to anything with the gel. I'd been an acrylic tech, and I was watching her, and I'm like, look how clear that is. Look how smooth that is. That's not the gel that I knew. And so even back then, the gel that you had created was, I don't know, so revolutionary. And so to see where it is today, so I just recently had purchased some more of the Light Elegance gel. And I had not used the Lezlie line.
Mhm.
And so being able to play around with that, man, gel is not at all what it used to be. And so it was kind of narrow-minded. You specialize in one area and you perfect that. And for me, it was acrylic. I love where Light Elegance is. I've used the polishes and one of my favorites is I think it's called Jingle Bells. And it's the hollow, thicker glitter. It goes on any color. I love that one. It's still one of my all-time favorites.
It's fun. It's fun what we do. The glitter gels really make it exciting too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we actually have a question on here already. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to scroll up to find it here. Somebody said, well, first of all, we have lots of good mornings from Australia and other locations as well. My goodness, the comments, I didn't realize there were so many more comments on there. Mare says, hi, Jim. She loves her new dot, which I was going to bring that up. We have in the same magazine I was talking about earlier, it promotes this new light. It's a little bit more compact. However, the strength of it is nice. I always like that it has a reflective bottom and all of that. And it's called the Dot. And so congratulations on a new release of the Dot. Mare says she absolutely loves it. So Wendy's on here and she said, does P Plus have solvents in them?
No, P Plus is solvent free.
Okay. So to clarify that, the P Plus is your gel polish line.
It's our soak off gel polish line.
Yes.
In a brush bottle.
Wonderful.
Kind of like
I can show you. Yeah, I was just going to do the same thing. I can show you what it looks like. Wonderful. Okay, let's see. Good morning from Australia. Good morning, Rebecca. She says, I was just looking at it on the magazine right now. I have not used Light Elegance, but I really want to start buying them soon. Rebecca, yeah, it's not the old gel like what we were used to years and years ago. It's definitely worth the investment for Light Elegance.
And we have a distributor in Australia as well, Beauty World.
Yeah. And so you guys expanded to go internationally. So with the different distributors, obviously that would cut down on shipping costs for the techs in that area. And so I'm assuming you guys have a full website that has, where to go, or is there a place that they can find who the distributors are that would be more local?
If they just go to the lightelegance.com website, and then we'll have distributors listed on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that's available. There's also a salon locator if people are interested in a salon.
Yeah, wonderful. Another thing that's on their site, if you guys have not gone and checked it out, is they created a bachelor's program for their techs. And I recently just went through that program, and it really takes you back to the basics of understanding the different shapes, understanding truly what the products are and what their purpose is. And it goes into a lot of detail. When you first start it, you don't have to have all of their products. However, I can say by the end, I purchased into every product that was in those because I wanted that. You made me a believer into wanting more of those. And so what made you get started with doing an online program like that for the bachelors?
Because we believe that nail technicians' time is valuable. And a lot of manufacturers will offer classes in certain locations. But when you do that, it's difficult to find the ideal time for people who want to attend that class. Or is it close enough to them to make it worth their while? A lot of nail technicians have kids, they have husbands, they have a life outside doing nails. So do they really want to take Sunday to drive 4 or 5 hours to attend a class on Monday and then have to drive 4 or 5 hours back home again? So the best way is, a lot of us have these things called computers, and you may as well go ahead and use them to the best of your ability. So we thought there's a lot we can do with video work, with question and answers. So what we actually have, LEU Edge is located on a different site that actually provides college level education courses to students. And so what we did is we just rent some of that space from them and then put on quizzes and tests. And then you can submit your artwork with your phone that you take and then load that to your computer and then upload it to your account on LEU Edge. And then you interact with Darcy, who's our Dean of Students, Darcy Olin from New York. And when you do that, it makes the quality of education subject to how much energy you want to put into it. But there's no shortcuts. You have to do the work. It has to be good. We don't pass people just to pass people. We pass people who do the work well. And then at the end, there's a Skype session, two of them, two 30-minute Skype sessions with Darcy, which is a question and answer. So the question and answer is, Darcy, I'm having trouble doing this. What do you think? Or she might notice in the photos that you submit that there's some things that could use just a little bit of a tweak. And so it's the fine refinements that take place on the Skype sessions to take you from being a really good nail technician to potentially one of the best nail technicians in the world. And what we teach on LEU Edge is, can you do a design, a nail that is structure and then decoration? And structure decoration style is more European style, Eastern European style, Russian style nails, where you create the structure and then you decorate it. When the client comes back in again, what you do is you just file and shape that nail. When you file and shape, that decoration's off. And then you go ahead and reapply the structure, shape it to that new structure, and then redecorate it. And it makes things really, really quick. Our goal isn't to sell a lot of gel to a very limited number of nail technicians. It's to sell just enough gel to a large number of nail technicians so they can get their work done. And that saves the nail technician money if you can apply the gel with less filing. So what we teach is not a pile and file technique. It's an application technique to shape. And then a little bit of refinement on, just a little bit of refinement on the shaping of it, and then decorate it up. So really quick, really easy. It's a nice way to go.
Yeah. So Selena Ryden came a part of Light Elegance quite a few years ago, and of course went live and started doing YouTubes, and you could tell where it created more of an excitement because, you know, whether it's be the sandwich technique that she's done or the way that she does the art and the shaping and all of that, and being able to go through those tutorials. So what I liked about the LEU Edge or the LEU Edge is that whether you were a brand new tech or a seasoned tech like myself, there was steps that reminded you to go back to basics before the e-file, when we were doing everything by hand, your techniques and stuff like that. I teach online workshops, and one of them is called Back to Basics, and it's for an acrylic workshop. And it's amazing how many people are like, but I don't have to file by hand anymore. Okay, so what if you dropped your e-file one day? What if something happened? You're going to tell me you're going to reschedule that client, or are you going to continue to sit there, kind of go back to basics and pull out your hand file? And sometimes people think it's so much faster. I got my e-file and it saved me 15 minutes. Okay. Well, through the years, you'll come to realize that your speed time for the hand filing is about the same. So sometimes going back to basics is necessary. And so I liked that those classes were designed that if you were brand new tech, you could go through it. Or like I said, if you're a seasoned tech like me, I can go through it and I can still learn from there. So it really is open for everything. I have to tell you a little bit of a funny story. I was using my little hand that I call Lily, because if I get mad at her, how can you yell Lily and make it sound like it's awful in any way, you know? And so Lily and I had a lot of struggles because Lily doesn't quite want to fit in my light right. She doesn't want to hold on to tips right. And it was a new bonding experience with Lily. Little can I say that when I do my live with Darcy, I'm doing them on myself. I'm not going to have Lily breathe frustration for me. Anyways, it's nice that it's set up. And you know what, Jim, I did watch almost all of it that I did was off of my cell phone. So the convenience of the classes that you guys have to offer online is really nice because there's stages along the way. And so it wasn't like 5 hours of videos that I had to sit and go through. You've made them where they're sectioned off and they're to a point and it covers that. You take a little bit of a test and then you move on. And so I think what you guys have is brilliant. And obviously it can be international as well.
Right. Yeah. Because we can appeal to everybody. And then it's at the nail technician's pace. So Amy, you went through it really quickly. Some people are still working on it and it's been 2 or 3 years. So it's whatever pace someone wants to work, it's totally available, where you couldn't do that if it's face-to-face.
Yeah, yeah. However, I have workshops that I try to limit them to like 1 to 3 months because I want them to stay focused and get it done and, and thrive on that. And so sometimes I have people, can you extend this out another, 3 months or so? And it's like, well, of course, yeah, because I want them to be successful as well. But like you, I kind of want to see them be focused on it and go through it and understand the steps, maybe not forget something a while back. So, what's nice is that you have the option to be able to do that with the program you've created. Oh my goodness. So I apologize. I'm missing lots of people on here. Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining in. As you can tell, I have Jim McConnell with Light Elegance here. And if you have any questions, you can do that. We're kind of winging it. He came on last minute. I had a cancellation. And so we're just going through the stages. Let's see. Rebecca says, I've never trained with hard gel though, but taking the class with Becky has really helped me a lot. And so, Rebecca, to kind of go along with that, yes, I know who you're talking about with Becky. She's one of our admins. She puts on an online class as well, and her products amazing and all of that. I really do tell people though that when they say, oh, I've tried gel before, or I've tried acrylic before and it wasn't for me, it might not be for you. However, I really think getting the proper education directly from the company is key. And I really think it's key to pick 3 products. Try 3 different gel lines. Maybe it's that one of them is self-leveling and one of them is not. And you use the technique of one and not the other. And it just didn't come out. It was just a big goopy mess. And so with that, try 3 different companies and then find out which one you like. And then what company backs the product. If you call, say, Light Elegance, you call them and you say, hey, I need to troubleshoot with this, they have the team and the support to be able to go through and help you to the next steps. And so then you have to find the company that's going to best suit you and shipping and the distributors in your area. So Rebecca, keep trying, keep going into there.
And sometimes I also have to interject that going from an acrylic to a gel is different. And so we have different application techniques that help with that. So we have our certain application techniques where you polish on a thin layer of gel. We call that a slip layer. And then you have a dollop of gel, which is an amount of gel that you put onto the stress area. And if it's a self-leveling gel, it will shape itself. So really, it reduces the amount of work that the nail technician has to do. And if you can work that system with the right product in your style, then what winds up happening is you have more success. So, yeah.
Do you find that different humidities, heat, cold, temperatures and stuff like that play a role on how the product works?
We do more temperature than humidity. So if you have a warm working environment, and you're using a very thin viscosity gel, it's going to be thinner. So if you live, say, in Wisconsin, and the summer times are nice and hot and humid, winter times obviously not. So I think Wyoming's the same way, but not as humid. But if you have your work environment is in the wintertime maybe 70 degrees, and in the summertime maybe it's 80 degrees, that 10-degree difference will make a gel flow more as it gets warmer. So going from a thinner viscosity gel to a thicker viscosity in the summertime may be a benefit and make it more consistent for you to work with that gel during those times.
Oh, that's perfect advice. Thanks for sharing that. That's wonderful.
We have a huge variety of gels, so ranging in viscosity. One step being our thinnest, builder being our thickest. So if you pick the viscosity that works best for you during that season, that's what you need to do. If you go from one step in the wintertime to extreme or cool gel in the summertime, that change in viscosity between the one step to the cool gel or the extreme might be perfect for your work environment for that warmer summer months.
Yeah, it's so true. I remember one time though opening a jar, and it was a really thick one, and it was just like that thick putty, the lid, it was like squeegeed onto it. And of course it was hard to apply. And the trick is, sometimes you can get a warmed towel, or at the time, Jim, you might not approve of this, but it used to be, they had candle warmers. You'd set your candle on it, would warm it, and then later on it turned into like you could put your coffee cup on it. It would keep your coffee cup warm.
Right.
Well, we would take our gel at the time and even monomer on the acrylic side of it, and we would put it on there just to keep like a warming pad underneath it. And then by the time you stirred it, you could get it going good again. Anyways, it became one of those frustrations depending on what time of the year, what we were dealing with. Because you're right, our weather, like in Wyoming, we go to the extremes. It's either hundreds or we're 30 below, and finding the right product to be that time of the year, it's important. And so being able to have the knowledge coming from the company like you, that's great, because it helps us know that not one product might be our universal, excuse me, our universal product. It might take, with the seasons or the heat or the location of where you are in the salon. If you're underneath a vent, you might want to try something different.
Yeah. All of that will play on how well that product will perform for you in your work environment.
Wonderful. Carmel's on here and she wants to know if you have a distribution in Ireland.
Ireland, we do. We do. Yeah, and actually the distribution channels in the UK and Ireland are changing. So here in the near future, that will be available. But for right now, it would be lighteleganceuk.com would be the website to purchase those products at.
Wonderful. And another question's on here is, can they purchase products directly from your website, or do they need to go through a distributor?
We have an online store that they can purchase products through. If they have a distributor in their area, we'd rather support our distributors and help people face to face if at all possible. So if we have a distributor who's closer to them, we'll refer them to them. But we can ship anywhere from here.
So Wendy's on there and she says it's the best glitter gels ever. And
Ever?
so when you come up with the colors, is it based, here's what I always fantasized about, as I always said, when I retire, I want to be the person that sits on the beach with Mai Tais, with a color swatch naming nail polish, and getting paid to do that, of course. And so anytime that somebody has a product line, I feel that that's what they're doing. And so, so what's the reality behind it? How do you guys come up with what colors you want and choose names for them?
So there are color trends that we have access to, and we will monitor fashion magazines. And the closer we get to a certain season, the more specific those trends become, and the more refined our color selection, our color palette is. Lezlie, her daughter Lexi, and we have a color team, and they all meet together and they'll go over the color palette that we have chosen that satisfy those new color trends. And she might be looking at, with that entire team, 60 different colors in just a color gel line and 60 glitter gels in that same time frame. And then they'll sit down and whittle it out, and then maybe still be making changes to some of those colors that are presented. And within like 6 months, 4 to 6 months before it actually gets released, everything's finalized, labels are ordered, and then we'll go ahead and start pumping. Once the colors are all chosen, then they'll come up with what the name of that theme's going to be, and then specific color names after that. So, and it's quite a process. And I'm not involved in it with it anymore, but it's fun, and they get a little nasty from time to time. Because you start just kind of winging it, and you come up with some really fun names, but even the nastier ones get toned down a little and brought into, what we wind up choosing. That's fun.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I actually like about like buttercreams and all of those. You'll open it up and you're like, okay, this says that this is the name. And then you open up and you're like, yes. So once again, though, was Mai Tais involved and a beach involved at all? If not, I would highly recommend to be able to sit there and do it like that, because that was always my,
Well,
fantasy.
we are going on vacation here in a couple of weeks, and Mai Tais will be involved. I'm sure some naming will go on at the same time. So yeah, and sand.
Yes, absolutely. So you guys actually, I know that you travel a lot. Of course, I just met you a few months ago at the Utah Nail Show. And so some of it obviously is within the States. Do you guys ever just take a vacation that's not nail related, or are they always seem to take you somewhere that becomes nail related?
It's a family run business.
Yeah.
So no matter where it is that we go, it's always family that's with us, and it's always company related.
Yeah.
So, which is fun. I mean, when you enjoy doing what you do,
yeah,
you can't help but get excited, and you start talking about business. So everywhere we go, it's company. But yeah, we'll be on vacation for 2 weeks. while we're on vacation for 2 weeks, it'll be a lot of business. And then Lezlie and I fly home on Saturday night at 10 o'clock, and we're back on a plane Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
Just
Off to the
constant.
next trip. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But like you said, when you find your passion you're working with in that, it's like you're taking a vacation more than what it's ever, feels like it's work. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. One of the things, Jim, I want to bring this up because I feel that it's a quality that you have that so many people, including myself, I didn't realize how I'm a busybody. My brain is always working. You guys know that I call myself the bobblehead. I get in here, I'm a mover and all of that. Jim, when I met you, and I've talked about this to many people since then, and just what you're doing now, you were focused into what I was saying. You were truly listening to what I was saying. And even though I can get off topic and then kind of come back, you stayed with it and and you listened and you responded. And Jim, that's a quality of something that I realized that I kind of missed out. Like on my clients, when we get to working in the salon, my head is down, I'm talking, I'm listening, I'm working, you're multitasking through all of that. And in real life, when I'm talking to people, I'm doing the same thing. And sometimes I don't always stop to make the eye contact that I need and stuff like that. And that's just one of those things that I admired about you. So anyways, I just had to put that out there because the first time I met you, I think I actually had mentioned that to Layla right when we walked away. I was like, I felt like he actually was listening. I got a little bit tongue-tied and a little bit nervous because I'm not used to somebody truly listening to like every word and then responding. And so anyways, I appreciate that about you. So thank you.
I'm glad. That's what we strive for, because if we stop listening, even for a split second, we can miss some of the most important information we could ever obtain. And so when you're talking with somebody, they're taking the time to share it with you. We should at least take the time to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Important.
So thank you for that. It proves, though, that your business is based on those same values, that you're taking the time to listen to the text when they call. Even here, we're having so many questions, and to be able to go through and answer them in detail is wonderful. So thank you for taking that time, as well. Speaking of questions, sorry guys, I'm having to scroll up. So as you well know, if I miss questions along the way, you know that I'm gonna watch this on replay and I'm gonna send you the links and get all of that going and answer any questions you have. So I apologize, but I wanna say to you all, thank you for joining in live. And let's see here. Another person, I think it was Adelia, I just passed it, wanted to know if you would come out and design a traveling bag for nail techs using your products.
That's an interesting question. It's a really good question. We've thought about it, and I've contacted some luggage manufacturers to see what we can and cannot do. If we did it, we'd probably look at something that's backpack / rolly bag. So you'd put a backpack on top of a rolly bag. Since I travel a lot, my backpacks go over the little handle of the rolly bag. So it would probably be something along those lines, because that's what I prefer. I like the waterproof fabrics. I like a lot of zippers. I think it's important for you guys to have an area to put all of your bins. I think bins are nice too, because they're easier to clean out. Have replacement bins in case you have a spill. I like to fish. So you guys are kind of hearing some of the things that I like to do, I guess. But when I go fishing, you have the little bins that have the clasp closed top. So you can put all your stuff in there, close it up, stick it in a slot, and go that route. So obviously, we've thought about it, and the question is, at what point do you pull the trigger? So we're getting closer and closer to making that decision.
So Delia, maybe you might just have to, if you have suggestions, get a hold of Jim and say, I want something that has this too. So maybe add to the list a little.
Email me. And I know that a lot of our educators have asked for the same thing. Yeah. Because there are something about having a package that's specifically designed for what it is that you need it to do. Mm-hmm. And making it specific for our product line would be awesome. And making it easy to travel with, because a lot of our educators travel all over the place. Mm-hmm. And whether they live in Illinois and have to go down to Dubai, or if you're in Sweden and you have to come to the States, having something that travels well with you would be great. Yes, absolutely. Because as we well know, it's already devastating when our luggage gets lost or left behind trying to have it.
I just had, yeah, exactly. But let alone when you open up something and when maybe one of the main ingredients, a bottle or something leaked or broke open or something like that. So you're right. There's a lot that goes into the planning of those bags. So it looks like you'd have quite the following. However, if you chose to get into the fashion line as well. So Jim, sorry. So Hannah wants to know, how often would you suggest we open a new bottle of Tact or Vita Prime? Or would you just wait until the current one is low?
I would just use it until it's gone.
Yeah.
When you reach somewhere around a quarter full, go ahead and buy another one. The life expectancy for these products, we know that it has at least a shelf life of 15 years. We have some of the initial formulations that we came up with before we started selling, and they are still in our archives, and we still reach into those and pull them out and use them. So they have shelf lives that will come up to about 20 years at the very least.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and we have to put on the package. You'll notice on the package on the labeling, there's a little, looks like an open container, almost like a clamshell, where the clam top is sticking up, and then there's a number underneath it, like 36M or something like that. So that's for 36 months. And that is something we have to put on there for the European Union, where it says a period after opening is good for at least 36 months.
Okay.
That's what that means. But we know that the POA is closer to 20 years.
Yeah, all those restrictions on what they have to do sometimes, huh? You know, I just learned one the other day because when it comes to, so I'm a star this year on the cruise with the nail stars, and we're all getting, you know, talking behind the scenes, like products we can bring. Well, what we found out is like Kirsty Meakin and Katie Barnes are coming over and they cannot bring monomer. And then some of the things I learned, so they'll say that it's 1.6 ounces on powder, but really it's 2 ounces. But they have to do that because of the way the international laws are on different things. And so it can't be, I'm not sure what the specifics are on that, but it was one of those things that I learned the other day about, like what you said, even with the clamshell on there, the packaging, there's so much to all the rules and universal of around the world and what we can ship and what we can't ship, what we can bring on planes, what we can't bring on planes. Anyways, make a long story short, I have an extra little shopping list I have to go do for Kirsty and Katie because they aren't able to bring some of the products internationally. And so crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see, who else is on here? So Linda says that it's very interesting that the brand that she's currently using is slipping away. And so, Linda, can you expand on that a little bit? Do you mean slipping away like the product is kind of slipping across the nail, or is the whole brand kind of going away and being done and you need a new brand line? Because if that's the case, Jim, what would be, so obviously we would direct them to your website, but how would somebody get started in knowing how do I want to say this? It's overwhelming when we go to a website and there's so many products and we don't even know where to start. What is the beginning kit that you would recommend for somebody to get into?
So we start out with a trial kit if you want gels. The trial kit would be our Tack, which is our most popular bonding product, super shiny for a gloss, one step extreme pink builder, and perfect white. So you have 3 different viscosities of building gels and then a paint on white gel. So you can do a general good idea of what you're capable of doing. What viscosity you like, how fast you want to work, how slow do you want to work, what do you want that product to do? And then from that point, we have an ample sampling system. So we believe in giving you something for free before you buy it. Because once you buy it, it's a fair amount of investment on the person's part. And so if you like, say, our extreme, but you want to see what does pink extreme look like, or baby pink extreme, or soft pink, or cosmetic pink, or, I mean, it just becomes huge. So if that's the case, you just call us up and say, hey, can I get a sample of baby pink extreme? And I want to compare that to soft pink extreme. We'll send you both. And each one is 8 milliliters, so it's a 1/4 ounce of product. It's enough to do a couple of fills on people. And you can see how you like it, how long does it wear, what's the performance level for it, does it have good gloss, what's the durability, and that's a nice way. So you can build that type of a system up. And then once you've chosen what you like, then you kind of go on down that path. But you know that if you're working with extreme in the summertime and you have wintertime coming up, what would be available in a thinner viscosity if that's what you want to do, depending upon your work environment and those temperatures.
Exactly. Thanks again for sharing such great information. So I know that there's a lot of questions on here, and one of the topics that I want to talk about, you and I talked about behind the scenes. So for instance, Mare said that she loves her new dot. And when it comes to lights and the curing of the gels, there's so many opinions out there and misleading information. And so when I talked with you a little while ago, you actually educated me on, and I can't even remember the name of what it is now, but can you kind of discuss what you were when we were talking about the lights and how to test your light to make sure it's properly curing the gel?
Sure. Hi, Mare. And so what we tell people to do with testing the lights is, as you are aware, if you're familiar with lights, the lights start out as strong as the manufacturer will produce them. But over a period of time, the LED emitters or the bulb, what happens to be in that light, will produce less and less light or wavelengths of UV or visible spectrum light. And as that decreases, it's hard for our eyes to be able to perceive that. But there's a real simple test in order to find out how well that light's going to perform over a period of time. What we would do, what we advise people to do, is buy what's called a digital micrometer gauge. And you can get these at Home Depot or Amazon. And before I got on, after we talked earlier today, Amy, I went ahead and looked at them. You can get one on Amazon. So I'm gonna look over a different screen. It is a Nico 01407A electronic digital caliper. And what that'll do is that will measure the thickness of a sheet of plastic or paper. What we do when we produce something is we always test how well that product's going to cure in a bunch of different lights. We test it in about 6 different lights when we do our QC procedure, QC being quality control procedure. So these things will measure how thick that product will cure. If we're talking about making, like I said earlier, baby pink extreme, when we make baby pink extreme, we'll go ahead and make it, check its viscosity, make sure it will flow properly. And then after that, we'll go ahead and cure it. When we cure it, we measure how much heat that's generated and how thick it will be. And we'll put that onto a form, cure it on the form, peel it off the form, clean both sides of that film, and then measure the thickness of the film with a digital micrometer. And we do that with every batch. So if you call us up and say, okay, in your LED Plus, what's the thickness of the film if you cure Baby Pink Extreme? And then if you have a different light, let's say it's a C&D shellac light, how thick is the film of Extreme cured in that light? And then if you had a digital micrometer, we can compare apples and apples. We'll go ahead and test that film, that batch in that light, and let you know what we see with the Plus or the Dot or an Easy Cure, and then you can test it in your light, and you can see if that light is curing it as it should be, or if it's more powerful than what we're using, or if it's underpowered. If it's underpowered, it might be a good time to buy a different light.
Yeah, correct.
But you don't want to spend more money than you need to.
Yeah, and I think you said that they're what, less than $30? It's 20 some dollars.
Well, this one's actually $17.85.
Oh goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
And so your recommendations is to do it when you very first get your light, and then maybe 6 months later test the difference of the thickness.
Yeah. So if you got, let's say, a sample of our Baby Pink Extreme, let's go. I usually tell people French tip. So if you buy our building white, what we call French tip, if you buy that, or you get a sample of it, so it's an 8 milliliter sample, you put that on your form, you put it in your light when your light is new. And then you get a small little spiral bound notebook. And then you record on that date with that batch of that French tip and your light, how thick it cured. And then you do the same thing in 6 months, do it 6 months after that. And every 6 months you're evaluating just a small amount of the French tip on that same form or a similar form and cured in that light. And you can monitor how your bulbs in your light are decreasing in power. And then when you are, like, say, 75% of the original cure thickness, it's time to buy a new light.
Yeah. And we all know how important it is to be able to have your light working properly and curing properly, because it's actually one of the number one reasons right now in our industry for allergies, that these allergic reactions people are having from uncured or improperly cured gels. And so it's nice being able to know that there really is something that we can do to, help make sure and visually be able to make sure that we're able to set our gels properly. So
And it gives the nail technician control over their own destiny. If a manufacturer comes to you and says, I want you to use my gel, but you have to buy our light. Well, you can compare that gel in a dot versus a plus versus any other light and see exactly what it'll do and how well it will perform. And so it's really a simple, universal way to see what's going to work and what's not going to work, what's going to be successful, what's not going to be successful. How much is a new light anyway? Like our dot is $179 regular price. This is only $17 to buy this digital micrometer. So if you spend the $17, you can figure out if your light is as good as our dot or not. And if it is, great. Don't waste your money buying a different light. If it'll work really well, if the gel will work really well in your light. And then in the future, if your light needs to be replaced, then shop around for the best light at that time.
Yeah. And as you all know, they're always changing. So whether you want the features for it to have an LED screen, do you want your light to glow in the dark, whatever that you want. Sometimes what you're paying for is not the curing itself, but it's all the extra features your light may be able to have.
Exactly. Or just same light, different shape.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So Jody says, Jim, I currently use Extreme. It's cooling off here in Michigan. What's the next runny consistency?
The next thinner viscosity would be Cool Gel.
Okay. And then Jody says,
point would be 1 step.
Okay, so perfect. And obviously you can get on the website and it tells you the differences of what they are and kind of the viscosities and the levels of those on the website. And so be able to find that as well. And the website's so easy to use. I can tell you, I'm not good with websites at all. I'm not good with the technical side and I don't have the patience for it. And I was able to get through there. I placed an order through your website. I've done the other, education through your website. I call it stalking a website because I'm going through I click on everything. The contact us, who do I get to talk to? All of that. So I call it the stalking, but it's the education that you're receiving from their website is phenomenal.
Thanks.
Okay. Let's see here. So Jody says, it says, so 1 step with a question mark. They do have a 1 step. So your 1 step line is your Lezlie line. Is that correct?
It's within the Lezlie line. So every part of our gel systems, everything we sell is all within a certain line. So the Lezlie line would be all of our building gels. So that would include our bonding systems. So TAC, Power Bond, Vitaprime, that's all part of the Lezlie line. 1 step, manicure gel, Extreme, Cool Gel, Builder, Fiber Gel, those are all part of the Lezlie line as well. Super Shiny, Top Gloss, also part of the Lezlie line. So if you're looking at just hard gels, that's going to be your Lezlie line. And then we have our glitter gel, color gel, buttercreams. Those are our color gels that are also hard gels. And then our P+, our soak-off system. And then Apex is our acrylic system.
Yeah.
So, and then 1 step actually came about, and the name came from when we first met. I met with about 10 nail technicians at dinner at Long Beach in 1999. And that was beginning of 1999, before we actually launched our product and formed our company. And when I met with them, they said it would be great if we just had 1 gel that could do a fill, bond to the nail, and have a great shine in 1 step. So we came out with 1 step. And then in the European Union, Italy decided that they didn't want to have BPAs used in cosmetics, which includes artificial fingernail systems. And at that time, we were using a bisphenol A resin as one of the oligomers that built up our 1 step product. So when the EU passed that regulation, or Italy passed their regulation, we eliminated the bisphenol A epoxy acrylate from our system and changed it. Well, that affected its adhesion, but we didn't want to rename the product. So it still stayed 1 step, But now you can put down a thin layer of tack, put one step over the top, and it gives you your fill, your gloss, all in one coat. But you can put the tack down first, let it air dry, put the one step on top, and cure the whole thing together. And that works well.
Wonderful. I'm new to the tack. It was one of the things that I had ordered, and I have to play with them and smell them and look at them in every way.
You got to pet them and love them and see what they want to do.
I know. And so, of course, I apply it and I allow it to air dry and touch it. And it is like that perfect sticky tack feeling. And so you can see where a product would bond to that very nicely.
Yeah.
So Andrea on here says, hi, Amy and Jim. I love how Jim and the company will help with any questions that you have, whether it be about the lamps or the chemistry side of it. And Andrea, I completely agree with you. This is a type of business that I personally like to support because I get to talk to the people that know their company inside and out. And having the gem of Jim, being able to be a part of that and be the chemist side of it, from the ingredients that we don't recognize on MSDS sheets, we have no clue what they mean. And we're trusting into the company of knowing, and obviously with your company, you guys know absolutely everything inside and out, even obviously when it comes to the lights. And that's a company that you want to work with. Let's see.
We like making sure that we're available to answer questions. Customer service is everything. And we don't want someone to make that phone call and have to go through the prompts before you actually talk to a human being. Mm-hmm. So a human being will pick up the phone. And if we're busy, if it goes to voicemail, we will call you back.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Lisa says, this may have been asked already, but what kind of spike does the build system have?
Like a heat spike?
I'm assuming a heat spike, or it does say heat spike. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when we look at different exothermic, so a heat spike is called an exothermic reaction. So every time a bond is formed, heat's given off. The more bonds are being formed, the stronger the system, the more heat is typically the way we look at it. We've recently found a way around that. And so we're coming up with like a whole new modification to our system with less heat. But when we measure the amount of heat, you can look at it in two different ways. You can measure the amount of heat just of the one component, and when you put it on someone's nail, it will heat up. But you have to keep in mind too, inside the light, that light environment is also getting warmer. And so as the environment gets warmer, the gel will get warmer, and as that gel gets warmer, its heat or exothermic reaction will increase over a period of time because it's really a differential amount of heat that's generated from the work environment. So if we took the gel, warmed it up to 120 degrees, and then cured it, it would actually produce more heat than it would if we started out at 50 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the idea of putting the gel on one of those coffee cup warmers is maybe not the best idea.
It will increase the amount of heat that client experiences. Yes. So that's the reason why we try and use just a change in the viscosity rather than in elevating the heat of the gel. Mm-hmm. Right. So in the case, what we try and test here is we'll test both straight exothermic reaction and differential exothermic reaction. And we record both. So we're trying to shoot for differential exothermic reaction not to exceed 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So if it starts out at 70 degrees, we try and keep it so that it won't exceed 90 degrees. Not all gels are that way. Some of the new gels that we're coming out with that we should launch probably sometime in 1919 have a differential exothermic reaction of less than 1 degree Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow. Big difference.
You don't feel a thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And that's soon. That's just in a few months.
Yeah. We've been evaluating now for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. So, but we don't just put something on the market. We want to make sure that we put something on the market that's been well evaluated.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love it. You get me excited.
Yeah.
So Jody Ann says, Jim, you talked about your archives going back about 15 years. Have you ever built a throwback or a retro collection? I'm thinking specifically of the greatest hits. If not, have you considered it?
We do that with our color gels. But the other thing to keep in mind too is that regulations are always changing. And as regulations change, we have to change. So sometimes with the colors, we can't go back to pigments that were approved, say, 15 years ago and are no longer approved now. So we're always going through and trying to revisit some of the more popular colors and then using new pigments that are already approved or approved at this time that weren't approved before, or eliminating pigments that we used to use that aren't approved and using a replacement for those. So yes, we are. One of those would be like Time for Tea. It's kind of like Lezlie says, it's Old Lady Fabulous. I mean, it's just that nice neutral mauve kind of color that a lot of older people will just love because it doesn't make too much of a statement, but it makes a bit of a statement.
Yeah, it makes it look like you're so classy and you got your nails done, but not showy.
Exactly.
Oh, wonderful. Let's see. Hannah says she's talked with Angela many times. So I'm assuming Angela is somebody in your support staff?
Yes, she's the one who answers the phone. She's our first person on the phones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
And she's wonderful.
I think I've caught up with the big questions that are on there. So once again, as you guys know, we watch it on replay. I'll go through and answer some more. And so we have Jim just for about another 5 minutes. So Jim, one of the questions that I have for you is, say, for instance, somebody wanted to become a distributor or they wanted to be a part of your company. What would be the steps that they would need to take?
So they would reach out to Lezlie, would be your first point of contact on that. She'll detail out what's required, what we expect, and then we have to assign territories, make sure that there's certain conditions that are met. The initial order is really quite small because we'd rather have someone invest a smaller amount of money and buy what they know is going to sell rather than buy more than what they really require and have it sit on the shelf. So certain markets will support different colors better. And so let's say if you're in Japan, Japan has certain colors that are very popular, not as popular here in the States. So if your market is Japan and you brought on a bunch of bright reds, that's probably not going to be suitable for your market. So more of the softer colors, the light blues, the violets, that kind of thing. So anyway, we try and work with people to find out what's best. But the first steps would be to talk to Lezlie on the phone.
Okay. And if they chose to want to be an educator, does that go through a distributor, that you're the educator for the distributor, or does it go directly through the company?
Usually, if it's in the States, it goes directly through us. Internationally, education goes through the distributor.
Okay.
We look at those educators as being our educators, but they get their bookings via the distributor. So a direct interaction with the distributor is crucial to how busy or how not busy that educator is going to be.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, again, I can't thank you enough for all of your knowledge. Every time I've talked with you, you just spark up, whole new interest in myself. And so with that, when you were a child and you said, when I grow up, I want to be
a doctor.
In a way, you get to be a doctor.
In a way.
Yeah.
In a way. When I started college, I was pre-med and a bio major, but then I got into chemistry. Organic chemistry really changed my life. Yeah. I just loved it. It's like a puzzle. Everything I do is a puzzle. How do I make this work? How do I make that work? When will this technology be available? Everybody talks about George Lucas when he made Star Wars. He couldn't make the first few episodes of Star Wars because the technology wasn't available. But then as technology improved and computers became stronger, then he was able to make some of those initial Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. Same thing in chemistry. So when will the physics of proper curing technology be available for LED lights in order to make sure that we can cure the gels according to what we require? And there's a lot of similarities there. So I enjoy the puzzle of organic chemistry. And then after organic came physical chemistry, which lit my world. So it's mixing physics and chemistry all together. And I just love that. I love that. It's fun.
You can tell you light up when you talk about it even. Oh. So you can tell that you're there. Thank you for being a part of the beauty industry and advancing what us nail techs get to have at our tables and be able to make an income using the creations and the products that you've developed. And it's because, so for instance, you get the, the passion because of the physics and the chemists and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting here going, but what color is it going to make? And then my client's going to come in and go, well, how long is that going to last? And so it takes all of us working to be able to make the income for each of us along the way and continue to support that passion. So thanks for having the passion in the beauty industry to help us techs go to the next level.
Well, thanks for supporting the beauty industry and doing everything it is that you guys do.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Jim, I just can't thank you enough. I just want to tap in longer. We've been live for an hour, and I always try to keep them. Yes, I try to keep them shortened so that people can watch them on replay and stuff. But I would love to have you on as a special guest again. I know behind the scenes, you and I are working on some other things. And so as things unfold, develop, maybe you guys have new product lines coming out or anything like that, I would love to bring you on again and be able to talk about it and get some excitement. And what I really like is the true knowledge that we're getting, that the true from the ground up education on that, and be able to connect with tech so that we can be more confident in the products that we're working with and how to use them and all of that. So I just can't thank you enough, Jim.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So obviously I will put in the comments, I will put in all the connection details for the website for Light Elegance. And Jim, if there's anything else that you want to share, if you guys have Instagrams and YouTubes and all of that, we can share those in the comments as well. And be able to, as people watch this more on replay, if you have any questions, you guys know, go ahead and put it in the comments and it will tag me in it, and I can get you to the right connection of whatever the question might be. So anyways, my brain's not working as well today. I got a little bit excited on all of the new stuff that you have coming out. I'm like, really? You have a no heat spike gel coming out? I want to know more about that. So, so yes, again, Jim, thank you to you. Thank you to your wife for, all of her vision in this as well. I would love to have been able to have her on Tech Talk. So maybe we're going to have to do the flip side of Light Elegance and bring her and Lexi on sometime.
Oh, they are hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So everybody, thank you so much for joining in. Jim, thank you again for your time. And we look forward to seeing you on our next Tech Talk Live.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So everybody's signed off. Jim, I know I say this a lot.